Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be doing a look with the Haunted palette. I have not featured this on my channel yet. I have been using it in my own time. I'll put that down. But yeah, we're going to do a look. I'll swatch a couple of the shimmers and give you my thoughts because this will be my third or fourth time using this now. So I can give you my thoughts. So yeah, if you want to see the look that I do with the Haunted palette, then just keep on watching. Also make sure you are subscribed because I have a bunch of spooky makeup. I'm trying to get through it before the end of the month, so you don't want to miss out on that. And yeah, let's jump into the video. I'm not going to swatch the palette. I will link some people's videos down below just because this has been out for a long time. Excuse the hot rollers. I'm leaving them in as long as I can, so they're going to be in for this video. But I'm going to use this, and then I think I'm going to do like the greens on top, and then I want to use a hot pink on the lower lash line. So there's one in the Spooked palette in Bloody. So I think I'm going to pull in that shade out of here. So not going to be a tutorial. I'm just going to be using the palette. Again, I will link some people's videos that had some good swatches if you're curious, just because, like I said, it's been out for a while and I don't know that the swatches are relevant. Sometimes I'll swatch palettes if it's a brand new palette, but again, this has been out for a while. I haven't had a chance to film with it. Why does that look weird? There we go. Okay. I haven't primed yet or anything. I am just trying to get ready. So I figured I would turn the camera on. So I'm going to go in with the Gerard Clean Canvas in white. I do have a flesh tone shade in fair. They make a couple of different flesh tone options because you can use it as a concealer if you wanted to. I, again, have fair, and then I got the white recently in a subscription box, and it's changed the game, at least with this brand. I talked about it a little bit in the video I put up not that long ago about, using the Spooked palette again. And when I used it last year, it was not my favorite. Like their matte formula wasn't my favorite. And I think it definitely does lead itself to some sort of wet base. So concealer, and then the white is going to give you, I think, the most pigmentation. So I've really been liking the white base. I knew I liked this product already anyway, but I've really been liking the white, which is funny because I have About Face's white and black cream shadow for this reason, and I mainly use those with shimmers for like a one shadow look. So it's not like I'm unfamiliar with putting white or black underneath. I just, as an actual eye primer, I just never gotten around to purchasing any. They can be expensive, and if it's something you're not going to use all the time, I get it, because that's what I hadn't bought, like an actual white or black primer either. I was just using like the liquid shadows. So I use concealer brushes. A little bit goes a long way. It's very, very thick if you're not familiar with it. So I work out of the lid. It takes me a long time, about 2 years to go through one. I just opened a new one that I had bought last year, I think on like Black Friday. Okay, and then let me get a color switch out. Both of mine are dirty, but we're gonna use one anyway. Okay, and I think I'm gonna start off with Scare, and then I'm gonna use Cursed, and then maybe a little bit of Horrify, and then a little bit of the black, and then we're going to use the two greens. I'm going to use a little bit of the yellow. What is the lighter one? Obsessed is the lighter yellow. I did pretty much this look when my daughter got baptized recently. This was, I'm recreating the eye look that I did basically, and I just have a small little brush. I'm gonna pick up Scare, which is kind of a taupe, and we're gonna start that in the outer corner and into the crease. Again, this isn't like a true tutorial. I am just trying to get my makeup on. This little brush helps me be precise. I will say there, at least from my experience, if you blend too many mattes together, and it doesn't matter if there are shades that should blend together, they can get muddy, and I think it's just the formula. Because that was the issue that I had with the Spooked palette last year, trying to blend too many colors together, and stuff started to get weird, not in a good way. And then I don't remember what primer I was using. I would assume that I was using the Gerard Clean Canvas, but I know I still had my MAC paint pot. I hadn't thrown it away. That finally dried out, but I feel like I might have tried it with, because I think I used it twice last year. But I remember not loving the mattes. And I like them better now. But some of that, I think, is I figured out a primer that works a little bit better. I like the white with this better than the flesh tone shade with this brand. So if you have a really, really light concealer, I would say use that with this, because I don't know why, but that seems to work better. Okay, I'm gonna go in with Cursed, which is the lighter olive. I don't remember exactly which mattes I used. I know I had both of the greens on the lid, so I'm gonna try and, I picked up the Goosebumps sweatshirt from Target, the fluorescent green one. So I wanted to do some sort of a green and pink look without being too monochromatic. I do have neon eyeshadow. I could have went like neon green, but I also was trying to get a video up with this palette too, so I figured the brighter greens will be on the lid, so it would work. One issue I could see people having with this, you can see like it can get a little bit patchy. So I am going back in the original shade, and I will just bounce back and forth until I get the blend right. An issue that I could see people having is both of these palettes are very mid-tone. There's not a lot of light shades, so having things to blend shadows out with, I could see being an issue, but I would just bring in another palette with some lighter shades in a formula that you like. This palette I think is a little bit easier than Spooked, only because you do have the yellow. There's two yellows. So Haunted is like macaroni and cheese, and then Obsessed is lighter. That works like with these greens. But if you're wanting to use like the purple and stuff, then you're gonna run into the issue where you don't really have a lighter shade to blend things out. And it was kind of that way with the Spooked palette, although in that one you did have a white, so you could go in with the matte white, which I have done to kind of help blend some things out. And the shadows are pigmented, but you can see, and some of it is, it's a tackier base, so stuff wants to cling, but also like the pigmentation wants to like concentrate, so I just have to go in back and forth, which I did. I'm pretty sure I had to do that in the Spooked palette too. So I'm always happy with the looks. Like even last year using it, I didn't get a bad look. But it was a little bit of a struggle to get there. Okay, I'm gonna go in with Obsessed, which is the yellow. Just on the edge up here. Yeah, don't overblend. Because again, this will start to get patchy on you. The colors will start to get weird. Don't overblend. So if you have trouble blending these out on their own, again, bring in a palette that you like, that you're familiar with the formula, and just use another palette with it. I can make it work with what's in the palettes, especially using the two together, but it can take me a little bit of time. Like, I feel like I've already sat here for a while blending this. I don't dislike it. I don't think it looks bad in any way, but it's definitely a little more. I'm gonna use the white out of the Spooked palette too. I do appreciate that there is a white in that palette. And I can understand like not wanting to put it. I feel like the khaki that's in Spooked right here is a little bit darker. I will maybe swatch the shades that are similar between the two. I'll probably throw those in after I'm done with this, because there are a couple, not many, but there's a couple that I could see people being like, that looks the same. So I will swatch those shades at the end. The two greens, like the lighter one from the Haunted and the darker one, are similar. I think the one from Spooked is a little bit darker, and then I'm just blending up into the white. Okay, I'm going to put some NYX glitter glue on my lid. I can find a flat brush. Okay, let's, okay, I'm gonna do Eerie first, which is the darker green. And that's gonna go out here, and then I'll use my finger probably a little bit. And then we'll do, what is it called? Unearthly is the lighter green. I do think these lay down better with your finger than with the brush. I always try to go in with the brush first, hoping, and then I don't like it, so then I have to go back. And then this side looks different from the other side because I went in with my finger first on the other side. Is that the definition of insanity, is doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result? Taking some of that darker khaki and Horrify just to kind of blend that green, and then I might take a little bit of the black, we'll see. Okay, same thing going in. Unearthly is definitely flakier, so I'm gonna say you're gonna want to put some sort of sticky something down, whatever glitter primer you like, because it is very chunky and flaky. Just blend those two together. So I think this gives me the nice, like, bright kind kind of neon-y greens without having my whole lid neon green, if that makes sense. So I figured this would work for that. Let's see. I am going to clean up my lower lash line. I'll do liner and mascara and a lip, and I'll come back and I'll show you what the look looks like. Okay, at the end. So this is the finished look. I think it's really pretty. We got the green and the pink. So let me swatch, and I'm just gonna do it on the back of my hand because there's only a couple. The shades that are similar. So let's start off with the matte. So in Spooked, you have Scream, which I would say tonal wise, it is in between Horrify and Cursed, but it's closer to Cursed. So here is Cursed, and then Scream. Just if you're thinking about, see, it's a little, it's a similar shade, it's just a little bit darker. So that's Haunted, and then the Spooked palette. And then there are two purples, but in my opinion, they're very, very different. I would say, looking, you have a shade Fright in the Spooked palette. And then the closest shade would be Supernatural in the Haunted, but they're not exactly the same. Again, you've got kind of a shade. You can use them together, which is nice. And then you do have Eerie out of the Haunted palette, which is the, you know, candy apple green. I don't know why I think of apples when I look at it. And then out of Spooked, you have Apple Bob. That's probably why. Apple Bob has a touch more lime in it right there, but they're close. Like on the eyes, you probably wouldn't be able to tell the difference. And then is there anything else? There is a black in both, which I'm assuming it's the same black, but let's, they look the same. This one might be a little bit darker is all, but you've got a black. Is there anything else looking down? I don't think so. And then I can do the purples. You've got Cauldron, which is a dark, like eggplant color, Barney purple, and then Bewitched, to me, is what you would think of as a little bit more of a Beetlejuice purple right there. So they're not identical. I'm gonna clean this off of my hand, and then I'll just give you final. So not much overlap. I would say the two closest is probably the greens. Right here and right there. But other than that, I think they're different enough. And then maybe the two shimmery greens. So those two shades, I think, are the only two that are close. And they did change them a little bit. So I think that's nice. It's annoying when you get a palette from a brand and you already have a palette, like half of it is repeat shades. So I do think they're nice companions to one another. It's nice that this one has the white in it, and then you've got a couple of shades in here that are a little bit lighter, because again, they're both very mid-tone, so blending can be an issue. But this is the, like I said, the third or fourth time I've used it. I did a more like mauve-y, like with some of the pinks more recently when my daughters had their birthday party. Turned out really pretty. So if you want to see some like actual tutorials with this, let me know. But otherwise, I think it's a good palette. I will link it down below. And as I'm filming this, Spooked is available. So I will link both of them if you were wanting them. I think they have a bundle where you can get them together. And then I will try and remember and put a couple of different influencer codes down there so that you can save some money. Because I do know of a couple of people that have codes, and it is nice to save a little bit because these are like $54 a piece. They're not cheap, which is why I never got, well, for one, the Nightshade palette is mostly purple, I don't wear a ton of purple, and for the price point, they're expensive. So yeah, I enjoy the Haunted palette. I think it's nice. It's a good companion. I think they work well together. If you aren't interested in their Nightshade palette, that is also still available. And I think they have a bundle with that and the Haunted palette too, if you already have Spooked and you wanted to get the new ones. So they have a couple of different bundle deals on their website. So yeah, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. Let me know what you thought of the look. I am very happy with how it turned out. And yeah, again, make sure you're subscribed if you're not already. Come back and spend some time with us. Again, thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And hopefully I will see you in another video very, very soon.